we need to get all our measurements. I am going to write out my measurements. The length 34, the shoulder is 19. We're going to need the chest measurements, chest for male. The chest measurement. You can as well get the waist measurement and the hip measurement. Now let me quickly explain to us that in a shirt we need to know this rule: the front becomes the back while the back becomes the front. Let's just bear that in mind first. Now we have 34 inches, which is the length. We are cutting the back first, so it's just going to be 34 plus 4. Now the circumference measurements that we have here are the chest and the hip measurement. So we are going to add 4 inches and we'll divide it by 4. And this is the same as your circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 1. So for 43, just approximate that to 12. Then 40, that's 43 is the hip. We'll get the same answer, either plus 4 divided by 4 or divided by 4 plus 1. Now I said the length for back is 38 and the folding is 12 inches. So here is my 12 inches. You need to fold 12 inches and the length is going to be 34 plus 4, and that will be 38 inches. So we're going to get our 12 inches and 38 inches length and we'll cut it out. Now that has been done, the next thing is to cut the back. Now to cut the back, still folding 12 inches, but we're going to add 3 inches to our folding to make it 15 inches. So the 3 inches, we are going to hide it, or better still, fold your 15 inches. And the length now, the length is going to be 34. So here is my extra 3 inches and the length is 34 inches. So it means the back is 4 inches longer than the front. Fold your 15 inches by 34 and cut. Having done that, we're going to measure 2 inches by the side and we're going to slant. That's because, you know, our shoulder is always slant and it is not straight. So it is 2 inches for men. The next thing is to return the length of that of the back and the front to make sure it's equal. So the 4 inches extra now is at the top. You know, return the length and make sure it's the 4 inches is at the top. Now I'm going to fold from the back to the front. From the 4 inches, by the time I fold, I'll have 2 inches folded. Now all our measurement begins from here. It's going to start from the folded parts. To go with the neckline, we have the front depth as 3 or 3.5. We have the back depth 0.5, and or 1 inch if you're attaching a collar, while we have the width measurement could be 3, it could be 3.5, it could be 2.5, depending on the size that you're sewing for. So while our 2 inches is still folded, we're going to be measuring out the neck design. The front depth I'm working with 3.5 inches. Remember I said all our measurements start from the folded edge. Then the width measurement of 3 inches. I'm going to cut the front first, so just notch. You have to be careful here. Do not cut a larger part of the fabric. So just notch and make sure you cut only the top fabric. Only the top fabric. That's the front alone is what we are cutting. Do not make the mistake of cutting both front and back. Now from those notched parts, I am going to measure my 1 inch 0.5 sorry, for the back depth, 0.5, because this is going to have a shirt collar. So the extra 3 inches that was added, just open it up at the front part. Our fabric still folded, we're going to measure the shoulder. The shoulder measurement divided by 2. The shoulder divided by 2 plus 0.5. Shoulder is 19 divided by 2 plus 0.5, while the armhole length is 10 inches. This is more like an adult. So 10 inches is the armhole. You can still use 9.5 for men instead of 8.5 for a female. It is 9.5 for male. Then we have our circumference measurement. That's the chest measurement divided by 4 plus 1. The waist divided by 4 plus 1. The hip divided by 4 plus 1. Just go with your calculation and measure it out. So you're going to connect. You connect and you also connect your armhole. You can just bring out more like an L shape first to connect the armhole, and if you can cut it out straight, you can just go ahead. Sorry, I didn't remember to chalk it out first to see, but just find your way, trace out the armhole and cut. The next thing to cut is the yoke. Yes, any fabric you're attaching aside from the main fabric is called yoke. Now the yoke length is oftentimes 8 inches, 7 inches. You can then increase it 9 inches, 10 inches, depending on just be creative with it. You can reduce it, you can make it a bit longer. So you place it and then you trace out whatever shape you have on the neckline, on the shoulder, on the armhole. Just trace it out like this. Then the base of your yoke, you can decide to slant, you can decide to leave it straight, you can curve it out more like a V shape or square. Just go ahead and give it the shape has nothing to do with your main dress. It's just more like a design. So this is how it's going to look like. So all I'm just going to do is to fold. So let's move to the front. Now we are going to be placing the shoulder to join. Let me explain. First, the 3 inches that was added, we need to fold 2 inches, iron your stay. Make sure you iron your stay on the 2 inches. Here is my 2 inches from the 3 inches that was folded. First fold your 2 inches, then the 2 inches you have to fold it in to have that means you have 1 inch. You know, it was 2 inches. By the time you fold it again, you have 1 inch. So just sew it all the way from the base to the neckline, just like this. So whatever you have done on the right hand side, you repeat on the left hand side. So just fold the two parts and sew. We are done sewing. Let's see. So this is what we have. You can, it was 3 inches that we added. Now that we folded 2 inches, we're going to be left with 1 inch on both sides. So the 1 inch is going to have overlap for button and button holes, just like this. Next, we're going to be joining the shoulder. So place the front and the back like you're putting on your dress, the normal way the back and the front would be. Then you place the yoke on the front fabric to join. Now we're going to flip the yoke, flip it over to the back. Yes, just turn it flip it over, like from the front to the back, and then you can decide to top stitch on whatever you have joined if you want to. If you don't want to, you can leave it the way it is. The next thing to do is to top stitch on our yoke. We're going to fold it in and sew on the back pattern, the back fabric. So just follow the pattern to join. So the next thing we're going to do is to bring out the shape from the side. Just join the sides, both sides, and then we are almost done. If you want to have a slit at the base of your shirt, you can have that. For me, I am going to measure 8 inches. And then I'll continue the sewing. Now to cut the collar, you have to take all the measurements, starting from one side of the front to the other side. Take the measurement round. You shouldn't have more than 17.5. You shouldn't have more than that, because it's going to be too wide, except you're making for an you're making an extra large size. Okay, to cut the yoke, since our measurement is 17, I'm making the width 18.5 inches. Folded is 2.5 inches. The measurement on our main fabric is 17. So I made this 18.5 inches. Now I'm taking out 1.5 on the folded edge, 1.5, and we'll curve it out like this. And you know it was folded, so I have to slit it. I have to slit, and then we'll iron our stay on it. So this is more like a bishop collar. Slit, then you notch the middle parts for both the top and the base of the fabric. Now this is what we have. The first is 18.5. Since that is 18.5, this is going to be 1 inch more than the 18.5, so we're going to have 19.5. Still folded is 2.5 inches. Now here I'm taking out 1.5, not at the folded edge. Now this is at the base, 1.5, and you slant. Remember to notch as well, notch the middle. Folded is still 2.5, and folded is 2.5, and we have 19.5. Now I'm taking out 0.5 at the middle part and slant. There are different types of shirt collars anyways. You can decide to leave it straight, you can decide to slant it if you want, yes, to curve it out if you want. Now I am going to join with half an inch on both sides, half an inch. Make sure it's equal. That's after you might have ironed your stay, then turn it inside out, iron it out. That has been done. Now one of the strip of the bishop collar that we cut out earlier, this is what you have to watch out for. This edge, place the notched part, that's the middle, together the other parts of the bishop collar. Then we're going to join starting from the middle, first to the right hand side, then to the left hand side. Remember to notch and turn it inside out. Now we're going to be attaching the collar to the main to our shirt. First we need to fold the neckline on the shirt to get the middle. Notch the middle parts of your shirt. Now we're going to start joining from the outside. Make sure you place the notched parts both on the collar and on the shirt. So we're going to start by joining from the outside, and we're going to top stitch on the inside. First we have to notch the neck after joining on the outside. Then the other side of our collar, of our bishop collar, we're going to be placing it like this to top stitch on the inside so that we can have a neat finish. Another way you can go about this is make sure you iron out the two edges of your collar first. Folding the edges and then just place on your main shirt and sew on both at the same time. That has been done. This is very good. In case you want to top stitch on your collar, you can top stitch. If you want to leave it like that, just leave it. Then we are going to fold the sides, that's the slits that we left open. Fold the base of your shirt and then go ahead with the button and the buttonholes. And if you are yet to subscribe to Kharis Kreations, you can do that now. Remember to also turn on your notification bell to receive notification each time I upload a new video. So the sleeve of your shirt, you can cut out any sleeve of your choice. Just attach your sleeve and that's the end. So go ahead and make your shirt, and till I see you next class. Bye.